Okay, this is a title that I never thought I would possibly own a good quality copy of. Out now from 88 Films on 4K Blu-ray, 4K and Blu-ray, is 1988's Dragons Forever, starring Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, and Yuen Biao, directed by Sammo Hung and Yuen. This is the three brothers, they were called in Hong Kong. Jackie Chan, Yuen Biao, and Sammo Hung all went to Chinese Peking Opera School together as kids, and they were part of the Seven Little Fortunes traveling acrobatic outfit, and the skills they picked up or had beaten into them as little kids in that school, they carried into the world of martial arts movies. And it's a rare occasion that I do this, but I actually do have it here. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Look at that. So you have, I'm going to show you the product, which I rarely do. Pardon the lighting here is terrible. So you have a nice hard case, slip case, and in that comes the 4K slash Blu-ray. I say slash because you get both. You get the 4K and you get the Blu-ray in two different discs, all sporting original glorious artwork. You get 6 lobby card reproductions, which I'm not going to open because I keep my stuff nice. You get a double-sided poster that reproduces the artwork from the original Hong Kong release, and another release, if you can see that, there's that, and there's that, which is gorgeous. You get a book. Can you hear that? This book is, again, great original artwork on this. This is thick. I don't know if you can tell there. This is a sizable, thick book about this film. And there's a movie in there, too. So the movie basically is this. Jackie Chan plays a lawyer, a different kind of a role for Chan than he played. He was always the squeaky clean, super nice guy. He's a little on the edge in this movie. Jackie Chan plays a lawyer that is hired by Yuen, who plays this gangster who owns some kind of industrial plant that is polluting the fish hatchery downstream, the fishery, whatever it is, something to do with fish in the water. A woman is trying to sue the factory to make them stop polluting, and the factory wants this lady out of the way. So she hires, the Yuen, the bad guy, hires Jackie Chan as a lawyer to sort of sweet talk the woman who's doing the scientific study, who's going to testify at the trial about the pollution. Jackie enlists his two friends, Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao. He enlists Sammo to sort of romance the woman who owns the fish hatchery and make her maybe just decide to sell it and not pursue this ugly litigation or anything. And then he has his friend Yuen Biao try to break into, I don't remember clearly, whatever. Yuen Biao is basically this very acrobatic trickster, so he enlists his help here and there too. So the movie is a comedy. The movie is at times a drama, but mostly it's a comedy. And the action is fabulous in this film. I first saw a clip of this. The way I first found out about Jackie Chan, I mean, I knew about him from Cannonball Run when I was a kid, but I really found out who he is and what his movies were like, the movies he made in Hong Kong, by this program called The Incredibly Strange Film Show that was hosted by Jonathan Ross in the late 80s, that played in the late 80s, early 90s on Discovery Channel here in America. And they did an episode on Jackie Chan, and they showed a clip from Dragons Forever, this fight that happens in this sort of oceanfront or waterside, seaside, bay, whatever it is, restaurant, and it's just insane. It's Jackie Chan in a suit, and all these guys just, there he is, get him. And a lot of railings. Anytime you watch a Chan film from Hong Kong in his prime, any location that has a lot of railings, really good things are going to happen there. Not necessarily for the bad guys, but visually for the audience, really good things are going to happen there. So the movie is very funny. It's very goofy at times, slapsticky. It's almost a Three Stooges dynamic at times when the three brothers, as they were called, though they don't play brothers, Jackie, Sammo, and Yuen Biao get together. There's some hijinks, some Stooges-like slapstick, and some really amazing fight scenes. I always said about the Chan films or any kind of Hong Kong action, the last 10 minutes of one of these movies is going to knock your socks off, and whatever connective tissue there is between the fight scenes and the action is so good and so unbelievable in these films that the story almost doesn't matter. But in this, it's fun and it's light, and it strings it all together. I really, really enjoyed seeing this. This is a movie I remember seeing a long time ago. However we could get our hands on these movies back then, oftentimes it was DVDs or VCDs from Chinatown in Boston, and the transfers were never that great. They were, okay. They were okay. And I had always been told or read that the Hong Kong film industry didn't really take great care of its films. So when we were getting into the DVD era, when we were getting into the Blu-ray era, I was hearing things like, the elements aren't there, or nobody knows where the prints are, or stuff like that. And to see releases that we're now getting from 88 films of these films, this movie looks amazing. Like, my jaw was hanging open while I was watching this film, partly because of the action, but also I never thought I would see a Hong Kong movie look this good. I saw prints of a lot of these movies back in the 90s when they would play in Boston, and they looked decent because they were new movies, but they didn't look like this. I never thought I would see it like this. If I have a DVD of this packed away somewhere, it's gone. This looks so good, and it is loaded with extras. There was a company called Hong Kong Rescue that did some bootleg work, fan-made compilation bootleg Blu-rays for a while, where they would try to compile. A lot of these films had different versions. I talked about Millionaire's Express recently, where there's like the Hong Kong version and the international version and the Japanese version and all that stuff. This company, Hong Kong Rescue, used to try to combine all those together, and anything that was different about an international release and all the possible extras. Well, that's what 88 Films does here with this release. This is loaded. This took me a couple nights to get through all this. So I've got written down just off camera here in my notes what's in this for extras, and I will regale you and recite and recount as I see fit. So you have multiple versions of this movie. Let me find exactly where I wrote down exactly what they are. You have the Hong Kong cut of the movie, which is 94 minutes. You have the Japanese cut of the movie, which is 98 minutes, and has it has outtakes under the end credits, which we always know as being part of the classic Jackie Chan movies. But the Hong Kong cut didn't actually have that. The Hong Kong cut, the movie ends and the camera sort of slowly pulls out, while the action continues to unfold, the aftermath of the action winds down. The Japanese cut cuts to outtakes, ouch takes, as we expect from Chan. There's the international cut that's 94 minutes. That's the English dub, English language version of the end theme. So there's an end theme song to this movie. Japanese Hong Kong version, it is sung in Chinese. The English version, it is sung, I think by the same people perhaps, in English or phonetic English. It's a Golden Harvest movie. I didn't mention that earlier. And let's see. We have 4 extras. Get comfortable. We have a commentary by Frank Zheng and F.J. DeSanto for the Japanese cut, which is very informative, very interesting. We have a commentary by Mike Leader and Arnie Vedema for the Hong Kong cut. It's much lighter in tone. They did another commentary on something, I think it was Millionaire's Express that I reviewed recently, another Sammo Hung movie. It's more irreverent, more jokey. It's more gossipy, but it's inside info from people who have worked in that industry and have worked and or know the people in the movie. So that was very interesting. And it also gets into the filmmaking habits. Like they'll say, this is a very Sammo thing. This is the kind of thing Sammo would do in films. And this fight is similar to his usual style, which I thought was interesting. You get an interview with stuntman Chin Carlock, which is 39 minutes. You get an interview with the screenwriter of this film, and a lot of other things in Hong Kong back in that time period. Sato Chun Hon, that's 48 minutes. You have an interview with Benny the Jet Urquidez. I didn't mention that he's in this. So Benny the Jet Urquidez was a big-time, I don't know if he was kickboxer, karate martial arts tournament champion. He was like world champion of this style of martial arts. And he was in a couple of Chan films. He was in Wheels on Meals, which was another film with the 3 brothers. And then after that, he was in this, Dragons Forever. And his scenes are phenomenal with Chan and with whoever he is fighting with or beating the crap out of. So there's a really cool interview with him. Nice to see him again. There's an interview with film professor David Desser talking about the film. That's 7 minutes, a little bit shorter. Interview with Hong Kong film producer, casting director, and film expert Mike Leader, who was also on one of the commentaries. That is 6 minutes. Interview with stuntman coordinator Jude Poyer, talking about working with the dragons, the guys in the movie. That's 6 minutes. Interview with the Jackie Chan stunt team member Brad Allen about working with Jackie Chan. So it's not really about this movie because he's not in this movie, but it talks about what it's like to be part of that stunt team and work with Chan. That is 26 minutes, and that's an archival interview. I have a feeling that it doesn't say where these came from, but I think some of these were done for Hong Kong Legends releases of some of the Chan films, or maybe even this film at one point. There's an interview with Joe Ego on working with Jackie Chan that's doesn't really have anything to do with the film, but it's about working with him. It's an archival interview that's that's 13 minutes. There's an interview with Andy Chang, stuntman on working with Sammo and Jackie and being in this film, that is archival as well. When I say archival, they're older. They're originally standard def, so they don't look as good as the Blu-ray content on this. That's 38 minutes. Interview with kickboxer and stuntman Billy Chow. That's 34 minutes. They really pack the stuff on here. There's a Legacy of Dragons Forever, which modern stuntmen talk about the movie. That's 2 minutes, pretty short. Outtakes and behind the scenes. This was really cool. So you think, it's just the outtakes from the end of the movie. This is 13 minutes of footage that was shot on the set. So when I say behind the scenes, it's not like a camcorder rolling while they're making the movie. This is stuff that you would see, stuff that was shot, as behind the scenes making of stuff that would be in the end, under the end credits. So some of that you do see in the end credits of the Japanese version, and some of it you don't, and it looks perfect. So again, the fact that this all survived is amazing. It is all silent with music playing over it, score music playing over it. The reason for that is until the early 90s, films in Hong Kong were shot silent. They were shot without sound. They just dubbed them later. Not even with the actual actors dubbing their voices. Like, it's mentioned in one of these extras that a certain Hong Kong actor was known as the voice of Sammo Hung. And I've heard from friends in other countries, there are actors in their native countries there who are known as the voice of Al Pacino, or the voice of whoever. Like the Italian guy who does the voice for Pacino in dubbed Italian versions of Pacino movies is actually notable for doing that. So the outtakes are all silent with music over it. There is there's two versions of a music video, which basically is stills from the film set to that end theme. So you get the English language version, then you get it again in the Chinese language version, and you get additional Cantonese dialogue. Basically, it's like a deleted scene. It's a little bit more of a scene between Chan and the woman he's wooing, very, very short, but it's a little basically scene extension that we don't get in the other versions of the movie. You get the English language trailer for the film, which is a little cheesy, runs 2 minutes, and you get the Hong Kong trailer, which runs 3 minutes. So all of that is part of this phenomenal package from 88 Films. I've been a little slow to pick up. 88 Films has existed in the UK for a while, releasing this kind of stuff. They just started being distributed through MVD in this country sometime last year. So there's a ton of 88 Films releases that have not been released here that are only, other region. You need an all-region Blu-ray player to watch them. I'm definitely going to go back and pick up all of the Asian martial arts films that 88 Films have put out in the US so far, and then I'm probably going to get all the rest of them, because this is the treatment I always dreamed these movies would get. 30 years ago, we didn't even think about this, but back in the early 90s when I was getting into this stuff and just watching these movies over and over again, we made do with whatever we could get. A lot of the times we were buying bootleg VHS copies of Asian Laserdiscs that sometimes didn't even have subtitles or dubbing. They were just in Chinese, and we were happy to have it. We were just thrilled to see these movies, and you could kind of figure the story out, but the action was all the story you needed. And then, eventually the DVDs came along, and some came out over here, but not a lot. You were having to import them from China, and those were okay, but they had the white subtitles, and every time there was a white background, you couldn't see anything. Never dreamed we would get releases like this from 88 Films. So thank you, 88 Films, for putting this out. I cannot wait to see what else they release. And it is, as a huge Jackie Chan fan for 30-something years now, it's really, really exciting to finally be getting proper versions of these movies on Blu-ray. So needless to say, 10 plus minutes into this, I highly recommend the 88 Films Blu-ray 4K release of Dragons Forever.